Hi, welcome back. So now you can see we've got the two valve bodies. They're completely cleaned out, ready to be put back together with new seals. So I did find that the reason why there was an adapter put in this housing is because there's damage on the seat, so that wouldn't seal. So that's scrap. I've cleaned up another valve body. This is a shadow one that we're going to use instead. One of the things that I haven't stripped out yet, I haven't taken the seal off these pistons. So what I'm going to do now is just show you how I do that, because that's the only tricky part about these really. The way I do these is I actually try and snip the seal, and then you can see underneath that white PTFE seal is the black rubber seal, and this one's pretty crusty and it's just broken up. So that's how the piston is without a seal. We'll just do the other one. They can be a bit fiddly, and sometimes you do need to actually get a pick and get behind it. There we go, managed to get underneath it, and we'll just break it off. So there you go, that's another piston without its seal, and now I'm going to show you how to put them on. So I've actually got the piston just held in the vise there. It's not tight, and I've got a piece of leather in between the jaws to stop it marring the thing. Now this is the key. So this is a little cone tool that's been made up. Now that just goes over the end there, and what we do is we're going to get the replacement seal, and I'll show you how it goes on. Okay, so these are the two seals. These are the new ones. You can see the black one inside first, then the white one afterwards. What you want to do is make sure you get fluid on this cone. Make sure you've got some lubrication on there, and then what you do is you just, in one movement, you just push it straight up, just like that. So the white one goes on. Just put some lubrication on there. We're using RR363 brake fluid, and then this is one you've got to be extra quick on, because it won't return to size as easily. So we're just going to go push in one motion like that. Then we can remove the cone, undo the vise, and you can see now it's a bit baggy, but that will return to size. We'll put that in. See the start of the hole here is slightly chamfered, so what that does is it just, as long as you get it central, that just squeezes it down. I'm not going to try and force it down all the way yet. Sometimes what I do is, so I do them both ways round. Just to start squeezing down that white seal back into its correct size. I'm going to put a bit of fluid in that hole as well, and then when it's ready, you can see there it's almost back to its correct size. We'll just leave it for a bit. Almost ready to slide in. Okay, so we're going to try and push that in now. There you go, it's gone in. There is interference when you push it in because it's got that seal. It's supposed to be a tight seal on there, so it does. You do have to push it. Here's the other one. Nearly there. I'm just going to give it a little. There you go. That's in. So the next thing we're going to put in our bobbin assembly is the non-return valve. This guy. So that just drops in. Drops in there. Then we're going to get our new spring. There's the spring going in. Got the new aluminium clamp or plate. Got to make sure that sits down properly. And then we'll put Put a new O-ring on our plug. Just ensure the O-ring's not twisted. Once that's in there, then we don't have to worry about anything falling out. So then it's just a matter of putting the O-rings on. Now I'm just going to soak these O-rings in a bit of fluid. This is how I get them on. So pretty straightforward. Before the last one, we've got to put on a secondary seal. And then final O-ring. That's the bobbin reassembled. So we'll do the same again. Just make that has to drop in freely. Any dirt or anything like that will prevent that from sliding as it should. And that's the other assembled piston. Right, so now I've got the valve body held in the vise and we're just going to put it back together. So the first thing to go in is the spring seat. Now this valve didn't have any shims, so the next thing to go in is the spring. And then the seat, what we usually do is just push that down on the table and just try and seat that in a bit, but that's obviously a hardened ball bearing in there anyway, so that, ensuring that the ball is facing up, then just get a bit of fluid on the inside of there and make sure the O-rings are liberally coated in fluid, and then that should just pop down straight in, and you can see that's pushing against the spring there. Lastly, the cap, what I do is I'll just put it on there, push it down with a screwdriver, get the thread started, and then wind it up. And there's one completed valve. Back together again. So we're going to put a bleed screw in here, but we'll show that on the testing. So here's the next valve. Put that fluid down the bottom there. So this one had some shims. So here's the spring seat. Make sure it's the right way up. This one had one thin shim. I'm not sure what thickness it is, but hopefully when we test them it will be cracking off at the right pressure and we won't need to worry about putting any more shims in, but there's always a chance that we will. What you have to be a bit careful of is if this white PTFE seal there, the secondary seal, is sitting out a bit, it can get pinched and then it won't go in. But hopefully, there you go, straight in. That's the other one done. Now that cap nut will have to be torqued, but I'm not going to do that yet because there's a chance that when we test them we'll need to take them apart again to put more shims in. So we're not going to torque that up until we're completely finished. So these are our two valves done. The Shallow 2 one again without the port for the switch, the shadow one with the port for the switch. This is the leftovers in the kit. That's the main O-ring that will seat between the sphere and the valve body underneath. And this, I'm not entirely sure why this is included in the kit. But it's in the Bentley kit, so we include it too. But this is actually the clamping washer that goes under the cap nut on the sphere to retain the warning label. But you get one of those in the kit as well. So yeah, you can use other things for this. People have used biro lids. They seem to fit quite well, and also the little cap on the end of a spark plug. It's usually aluminium, I think, that you can unscrew that the HT lead clips onto. Those can be ground to a point, and they sit over the end of the bobbin piston quite nicely too. So thanks for watching, and the next video we're going to do some testing, so we'll see you on the next one.